Hey guys, welcome back to the movie summary. Beginning of the movie, we see a lady, her name is Diana. She works as a teacher in a school in Texas. Diana is teaching in the classroom. There we see a student. His name is Eric. That night, Diana sits drinking with her friend in a pub. Just then she gets a message. The message comes from Eric. Diana smiles after seeing the message. Her friend asks Diana who sent the message. Diana diverts the topic by saying something else. In the next scene, Diana is sitting in her car. Just then Eric comes there and sits in her car. Later they both get very close and have private time together. Diana tells Eric that when I was in school, I lied to my mom, and I used to enjoy it with my boyfriend. After they talk for a while and leave from there. Diana goes home and changes her dress when she finds her skirt ruined. Actually, the skirt was ripped when they had private time. The next day at school she says Thanksgiving to all her colleagues. Then they say let's go out and party today. Diana tells them that I can't come today. That night, Diana make out with Eric. She says that I am very happy with you, and you should be with me forever. One day, Diana is talking to her friend Sophia when she receives a message from Eric. In it he asks Diana to send her romantic photos. Then Diana goes into the room and takes her photos and sends them to Eric. That night Diana and Sophia go to a party. The party bores her a lot. So she comes home again. One day Diana goes to Sophia's house. Everyone is watching sports there. That match bores Sophia and Diana. So they both go into the bedroom. There, Sophia says to Diana that you are using the phone well lately. Diana says nothing, I am just using Facebook. The next day at school, while Diana is still having lunch with her colleague, Diana's friend says a topless photo of our schoolgirl goes viral. She asks Diana how can girls behave so stupidly. Hearing this, Diana remembers the photos she sent to Eric. And she gets very confused. Diana then asks Eric to delete her photos from his phone. That night Diana and Eric both make out again. Also they talk about the dance program in their school. Then Eric tells Diana that a girl asked me to dance with her. Diana heard, so I have to see you dance with another girl. She says with a smile. The next day Eric called Diana and said my brother had gone to another town. He will not come home for a few days. He says we will meet there today night. Diana also says okay to that. That night they both stay at Eric's brother's house. Eric then tells Diana to take off all your clothes. Diana does as Eric says. And they both have private time together there too. Later they both go to Eric's farmhouse for a week. After going there they both enjoy a lot. Next day morning Diana close to Eric on the bed. While they are romancing, a man comes near the house in a car. And as he goes inside the house, there is a sound. Diana hears this and says someone is coming here. Soon they get dressed. Diana goes into another room. Eric goes and sees a man. He is not someone who maintains the farmhouse. His name is James. James says I didn't know you'd come here. Even your daddy didn't tell me. He asks if your dad knows that you are coming here. Eric tells yes. James says call me if you need anything and leaves. Eric approaches Diana and says that he is James who maintains our farmhouse. Then she gets scared and asks if James will tell your dad about you. Eric says nothing. He has a duty here so he keeps checking. Then Diana is afraid that if the outsiders finds out about us, I will lose my job. Eric says don't worry, that won't happen. To that Diana says, let's maintain some distance after we leave here. Eric also says okay to that. Diana is standing outside that evening. Eric then approaches her and tries to kiss her. Diana is not in a mood so she pushes Eric away and leaves. On the other hand, Diana ignores Eric at school as well. That night at the school dance party, Eric is dancing with another girl. Seeing this, Diana gets sad and goes to the washroom. Later she goes to a wine shop and gets a drink. When she comes home, she drinks the wine and looks at Eric's photos on Facebook. Diana tells Eric that she will meet him after class at school the next day. Eric says okay to that. Eric meets Diana after class. Then Diana tells I miss you so much. It says I am in a little distraction, and that's why I ignored you. And asks we will meet today. He says okay to that. Night Eric approaches Diana. Later they both become very close and have a romance. But Diana is behaving strangely again. She pushes Eric and says sorry to him again and closes. Eric doesn't like all this and puts on his clothes to leave. Then Diana requested, please don't go. I don't understand what happened to me. But I will listen to what you say. Eric ignores her words and leaves. Diana also follows Eric to his house. She still calls him, but he doesn't pick up the phone. Then she calls Eric's home landline. Then Eric's father gets on the phone. Then he calls Eric and says, it's too late now, you talk to her tomorrow. Outside, Diana doesn't know what to do, so she goes to Eric's window and calls out to him. Then he comes out. Diana says to Eric, everything will be normal if we stay together. Meanwhile, Eric's father also comes out. Seeing this, Eric tells Diana that you should not create a scene and please leave here. Then Diana leaves. Diana drives around in her car that whole night. When she comes home in the morning, there are 2 voice messages on her phone. A message comes from Sophia. Another message comes from his colleague Michael. Michael says Eric's father came to school. You should come to school as soon as possible. Hearing this, Diana is very afraid that the whole school will know about her. She falls on the bed and cries. This is how this movie ends.